Hey, what up, YouTube? It is your boy Big Man MTG back with another video. This time it is a CEDH video on Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. Let's read what Kinnan Bonder Prodigy can do. Kinnan Bonder Prodigy reads: whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. Now, the main thing with this guy is that you abuse that ability to the maximum, having mana dorks, mana rocks, tap for an additional mana. That's what you really want this guy for. That's why he's your commander, so you can abuse the living hell out of him. This deck is CDH, so it's going to be a lot more powerful with a lot more powerful cards in the deck. Now, I'm also broke, so I don't have all that cheap mana rocks in this deck. I only have the few. I am a broke bitch, so there's only like the free counter spells, not all those mana rocks. I don't have a Mox Diamond. If you want to give me a Mox Diamond, that's great. But it's also 1 grand. That's the entire deck in one card. Hell no, not spending my money on that. That is cardboard. Not worth it. So, with that being said, let's get started into the 30 creatures I have into this deck, starting with Allosaur Shepherd. Simple enough. He protects you from getting countered. More importantly, he protects your green spells from being countered. And also, he can't be countered. Pretty nice. That other ability, ignore it. This is not an elf deck. Don't really care about that. You really just care about your green spells can't be countered. Fantastic. That's what you care about. Mana Dork, he taps for an additional 1 mana of any color. That's what you like to see. Or actually, it's 1 color of the chosen type. But that's also nice to see. Blightsteel Colossus, you use Kidney's ability, his extra ability, because this card has so much text, to pay 7 and look at the top 5 cards of your library, and you may put a non-creature. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield and put the rest on the bottom any order. You think Blightsteel is a human? Oh, well, no, it's not. It's a fucking golem. So you can flip him up off the top and get him onto the battlefield. Everyone loves a trample, infect, indestructible out of fucking nowhere. Gotta love to see it. Bloomtender, Mana Dork. Gotta love that. You'll have a shit ton of Mana Dorks in this deck. You'll see them all. Crater Hoof, one of your win cons. Simple enough. We all know what he does. When he enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and +X until in a turn where X is the number of creatures you control. You'll be controlling a shit ton of creatures, so everything will get super big. He's a win con. We all know what he does. Manadork, Manadork, Emmercool, big bastard. Gotta love her. She's fantastic. You probably won't cast her. You'll probably get her off Kinnean's ability, so you won't get the cast trigger off her, but you'll get the flying trample protection from instants, which is also very nice. But if you do cast her, you can take a player's turn. Everyone loves taking your opponent's turns. Everyone loves that. So that's also a good card in this deck. Manadork, 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 Manadork. All these lovely Manadorks. All of them will be tapping for double, so that's why they're all in the deck. Jin-Gitaxias. You want to flip him off the top card or the top couple of cards of your library using Kinnean's ability. He's very nice. He speeds you up while slowing your opponents down. That's what you want out of this guy. Very good card. Jin-Gitaxias, yet again. He's also speeding you up while slowing your opponents down. So what this guy does that's different from the other Jin is that when you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, you copy that spell. This only triggers once, so that's nice. But he's also protection, so slowing your opponents down by countering the first artifact, instant, or sorcery spell your opponent casts. So also very nice to have in this deck. Kruphix, God of Horizons. In this deck, you'll have a shit ton of infinite mana and a shit ton of mana in general. This guy protects your unspent mana and make it become colorless mana. So that unspent mana will just be sitting down, just chillaxing. You'll just keep forever. Just chill there as long as this guy's out. They'll just chill there. And also, you have no maximum hand size. Can't go wrong with that. Good card to have in the deck. You can flip them off Kinnan too. Everyone likes an indestructible god that you flipped off the top. Manadork, Matadork. Momir Vig, an underrated card in this deck. I think I like it a lot in this deck. So what he reads here is whenever you cast a green creature spell, you may search your library for a creature card, reveal it, and put it on the top of your library. But it also reads whenever you cast a blue creature spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put that card into your hand. So simple enough. Let's say I cast Kinnan with Momir Vig on the battlefield. Kinnan is a green and a blue. So what that means is that I get both of his abilities here. I'll also get to tutor for a card, while also looking at the top card of my library and seeing if it's a creature card. And you can order that any way you want it to. So you do the first green part first, and then the blue part if you choose to. And that's very, very good because it's basically like a Summoner's Pact without the pact part of it. You just get that card and you put that in your hand. Very good. Very nice to have. Manadork. This guy is good against combo decks that cast a absolute shit and absurd ton of non-creature spells. This will punish him for it. You draw a shit ton of cards, you get to your counter spells, counter the thing that's important. Very nice to have. Very good card in this deck. And also it can recur itself. Can't be countered, and you have no maximum hand size. Like to see that. Look at this. Manadork. But this time, this one has hexproof. As long as it's untapped, though, which is also nice to have. It's a little benefit off this Manadork. Seedborn Muse. Basically a staple in any green deck. It untaps all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. So there's 3 other players there. You untap 3 extra times. You're not going to complain about that when you have Kinnan and a shit ton of Manadorks out, so you can activate his ability a crap ton of times, or use it to cast spells from your hand. Very good card in this deck. Very nice to have. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. This guy's a Manadork, but only to cast creature spells. Also, he has another formidable ability. You pay 11, and each player's life total becomes equal to the number of creatures they control. So, and you have to activate this if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, which you'll have because you have a shit ton of creatures in this deck, and they'll come out and they'll be 8 or greater. Simple as that. Now, this is a good card to have because it makes your creature spells cost less, because this will tap for 3 mana thanks to Kinnan. But it also kind of is a win con, in which it's a combat win con, just like how Creative Hoof is a combat win con. Lowers your opponent's life totals down to a killable range, because in CEDH, there's not a lot of creatures that are out most of the time, so it lowers everyone down. Good card to have. Sphinx of the Second Sun. This card, you can flip him off Kinnan as well, but he gives you an additional beginning phase after your post-combat main phase. So this will read at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, there's an additional beginning phase after this phase. So the beginning phase is the untap, upkeep, and draw steps, which means, hey, you untap all your Manadorks again, and you draw a card. Very nice to have in this deck. Very good card. Thassa's Oracle, it's a win con. One of your main win cons when you draw your entire deck and you cast them and you win the game. Simple as that. It's a very good card. It's getting up there in price. It's near $20 now. Get it before it's too late and gets too expensive. Yeesh. It's getting up there, ain't she? Trophy Mage. Use this person tutor for Basalt Monolith. That's why she's in the deck. You search for a card or artifact card with mana value 3. Exactly 3. You search for that Basalt Monolith. That's one of your main areas to get infinite mana with Kinnan. You really want this card. Urza. This is another one of your mana outlets when you have infinite mana. And just a CEDH staple in blue. So when he enters, he creates a construct. Whenever you tap it, you can tap and untap artifact you control to add a blue. So you can tap that construct for a blue. Those abilities are very, very nice. But it also has pay 5, shuffle your library, exile the top card of your library, and until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. So you use that infinite colorless mana, you chuck that into Urza, cast the entire deck, find that Thought Oracle, win the game. Simple as that. And also, very cheap right now. So, might as well go for it before it gets too expensive again. And now, why did I choose Urza over Thrasios? Because Urza has that construct. So I feel like it's more, could be more utilized than Thrasios. My personal opinion, anyways. But, I'm retarded, so take that with a grain of salt. Another Praetor in Vorinclex. It's a deck card, but a very good card in this deck and in CDH in general. You tap a land for mana, you add 1 mana of any type that land produced, or your opponent's lands, when they tap for mana, they don't untap during its controller's next untap step. So you slow them down and you speed yourself up. That's what the Praetors do. That's what they're good at. Very good card. Walking Ballista, this is one of your win cons. When you have infinite colorless mana with that Basalt Monolith, you pour mana into him and kill all your opponents. Simple enough. That's what you really care about with this card. Very nice to have. Now we're going to get into these sorcery spells here. Finale of Devastation, it is a tutor card that lets you tutor from your library and your graveyard. Now you have to pay X to find this. So when you have this infinite colorless mana or just infinite or non-infinite mana, you can search your library or graveyard for a creature card just so you can put it onto the battlefield. Maybe it's one of your cards you need to win with, or it's a card you just need. It's a very good card in this deck. And plus, if X is 10 or more, creatures you control get +X and gain haste until end of turn. So you can use this to tutor for a Craterhoof and give your creatures +X and haste and trample and +X for Craterhoof's ability. So everything's fucking massive and going fucking crazy. Very good card in this deck. Very good card general. Definitely worth the $55. It is worth right now. Holy hell, it doesn't need a reprint. Regrowth, just some recursion here. You can probably use a Noxious Revival as well, but this also works. Psych Rift, blue board wipe, the best board wipe in Commander at instant speed. Keep it in. Dramatic Reversal, this is a combo piece with an artifact you have called Isochron Scepter. You use those two together. You cast that Isochron Scepter, exiling the Dramatic Reversal. And then what you may pay 2, tap it to copy that Dramatic Reversal without paying its mana cost. So when you do that, you untap your mana dorks and get infinite colored mana. So with that Isochron Scepter, that's a combo piece that gives you potentially infinite mana. Very good and a staple in most CDH decks. You also can cast a Dramatic Reversal if you're in a tough spot to get that a little bit of extra mana. Fierce Guardianship, all the cheap and free counter spells here. All of these ones you know and love, especially in a blue deck. All of them you know and you love a shit ton. You just love counter spells just to piss off your opponents so nothing resolves. And you ruin their combo, you ruin their win cons, you ruin everything they love. That's why they're in the deck. Heroic Intervention protects permanents you control. So they give them hexproof and indestructible. If you get hit by a Toxic Deluge, well, get fucked. Basically what that says. But you can protect yourself from basically everything else. From a Blasphemous Act, single target removal, all that fun stuff. Mystical Tutor, it's a tutor, just like Worldly Tutor. They're in the deck to help you look for instant sorcery cards, help you look for win cons or interaction. That's what you need. Destroys artifacts and enchantments for very cheap. They gain 4 life. Who gives a shit about that life gain? But it's 1 mana, remove an artifact or enchantment. That's what you care about. Kill spell, tutor. Now, I usually play this tutor when you want to win the game instantly, so you don't have to pay that 4 or you lose the game. So that's usually when I play the spell. Veil of Summer, more protection for you and permits you control from blue and black until end of turn. So there's a lot of decks in CEDH that can include blue and black, so giving yourself protection from them is very nice. Wash away to counterspell commanders, War of Invention to tutor for your Basalt Monolith, and a Worldly Tutor to tutor for a creature you need at that current moment. Now getting into the artifacts, I don't have that fast mana because I am not made of money, but I do have a Soul Ring, and that's $1. Yay. Arcane Signet, good mana rock to have. All these signets are also doubled off of Kinnan, so that's also nice to see. Basalt Monolith, this is your infinite generator. This is one of your best cards in the deck. With Kinnan out, it's a 2-card combo. Everything's infinite, colorless mana. Use that with Urza, Walking Ballista, or an Everflowing Chalice, or a Staff of Domination, or a Finale of Devastation. Use any of those. Go crazy with it. Go win the game, basically. Everflowing Chalice, you can go infinite with it, or not, throw the infinite mana into it from Assault Monolith, or you can just multi-kicker this once, put it on the battlefield, and it taps for 2 because of Kinnan. Already been over that one. Lightning Greaves, you know it, you'll love it. Haste and Shroud, fantastic. Protect your shit. Mox Amber. This is the one fast mana card I have, besides Soul Ring. This is the other one. 0 mana, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. So just really Kinnan. So, yay, taps for either a green or blue, and that's doubled because of Kinnan. So, fantastic. Simic Signet, Soul Ring. This is one of the mana outlets you can use with the Basalt Monolith, infinite mana, infinite colorless mana combos, so you can draw your entire deck, untap your creatures, all that fun stuff. Thought Vessel, mana rock. Cryptid Rite allows your creatures to have a tap add 1 mana of any color ability, which is very important in this deck because now that's all doubled. Plus, Freed from the Real and Penman's Aura can go infinite with anything that taps for not anything, but for creatures that tap for any color mana. These guys go infinite. So, you put a Freed from the Real onto a Incubation Druid here. This will tap for 2 blue mana. You use the Freed from the Real to untap that Incubation Druid. So now you have 1 blue floating and this guy untapped. You tap him again. You get more blue mana. Now you have 3 blue mana floating. You then use Penman's Aura or the Freed from the Real to untap it again. Oh, look at that. You have 2 blue mana. Then you can tap it for green, having 2 green, using that 2 blue to now have 2 green, 1 blue, infinite color mana. Use that with Penman's Aura and Freed from the Real on anything that can tap for both colors. So you have a lot of ways to go infinite with your mana dorks. Growing Rights, this card is basically a Gaia's Cradle with extra steps because I'm not paying $1,000 for a Gaia's Cradle. So this is the Gaia's Cradle with extra steps. Still a good card, really good card to have. Heuristic Study, we all know what it does. Very good card. Dryad Arbor, getting into the lands now. I don't do basic land. That's a lot of work. If you really care, it's like 60% green, 40% blue. If you really care. Maybe 55-45, realistically. But still, keeping it close. Green has all your mana dorks and early turn things. Blue has all your interaction, counter spells, and stuff like that. So Dryad Arbor, mana dork. Gemstone Caverns. If you're not starting and you have this card in your hand, you put it onto the battlefield with a luck counter on it, and the exile card from your hand. And now this guy taps for any color mana. And guess what? you're already ahead on the land drops because you got to play them, not even on your turn. But if you don't get to have that luxury and you draw this card from your deck, you put it on the battlefield, tap for a colorless. Not too bad either. This is supposed to be a command tower. Gemstone Mine. You can also have in the deck, but you only have 3 taps with it. I'd rather have the command tower. I don't know what the fuck I was doing here. That meant to be a command tower. I don't even know how the hell you get that confused. I must have clicked on that twice. I clicked on this, but then I also clicked on that. I don't know. I'm slightly retarded, so ignore me. And then Urza's Saga. Simple enough. This land is just broken. This card is broken. It enters the battlefield. Oh, you get that 1 counter on it. Now it taps for colorless mana. You get another counter on it. Ignore that ability. It's kind of shit. And then you get to the 3rd turn that this is out, sacrificing the Urza Saga and tutoring for a Mox Amber or a Soul Ring. Up in your mana. Very good card in this deck. Very good card in CEDH. Now let's go down to this mana spread here. It is mainly into the 1 and 3 drops here. That's where your mana dorks are, your counter spells, your win cons, all that fun stuff's in there. And you have some few outliers out here. But that's where the main spread is. Now you split it. You have like 42% in the blue, 42% in the green. So an even split. Colorless does not matter. And this deck is hilarious. It is very good, very strong. This is my first CEDH deck I've made. I've made 2 CEDH decks total, and I'll be showing you the second one sooner or later. But this is my most powerful CEDH deck and also my favorite, because you can also do this guy on a budget as well as making him expensive. So that's the fun part, that you can do them both ways. There's the both ways you can build this guy. He's just so good, so competitive. I'd rate this guy almost a 10 out of 10 on that CEDH scale, maybe 8 or 9 out of 10. That's the fair for the CEDH scale. A very, very good deck. I love it. It's strong. If you're looking for a strong CEDH deck, this is it. It's probably the strongest I know of. Now, with that being said, this has been your boy Big Man MTG, and I'm going to let you go. You guys all have a good day, and y'all take care till the next time. Peace.